Story 1. The number of people who cannot admit they are wrong about anything is insane. I do not know when we collectively decided that being wrong is, essentially, the worst sin a human can commit. But seriously, it is concerning. Story 2. Being alone. I know too many people who cannot stand being by themselves. This leads to staying in unhappy relationships or jumping into them way too quickly. Story 3. 3 things for just in case. 1. How to turn off the water supply to sinks and toilets. 2. How to turn off electricity in the circuit box. 3. How to use a fire extinguisher, and that trying to put out a kitchen grease fire with water is a bad idea. Story 4. Change a flat tire. Not, in theory, either prescribed knowledge. Obviously, if you are lucky enough to live in an area with excellent public transportation, then this isn't for you. Obviously, if you are a driver and you drive an actual car, then this is for you. Story 5. I think the best answer is one that has been already said, which is how to cook, so I will add another, how to clean. So many times, I have seen guys spill some kind of sugary drink only to take a dish towel and half-heartedly wipe it up. Then they just throw the sugar-soaked towel into the sink while there is still sugary liquid all over the floor and call it good. Story 6. Oh well, definitely the art of gratitude. It's amazing how a simple thank you can turn a tough day around and make every moment more meaningful. Plus, it's a great way to spread positivity, whether you're jet-setting or just hanging out at home. Story 7. How to operate a computer. There are so many jobs out there that rely on basic computer literacy skills. I've seen numerous situations where an older employee relies on younger coworkers to constantly show them how to work the computer to do their job, thus making others pick up their slack. On top of this, knowing how to operate a computer opens the door to so many options to enrich your life and make things easier. From paying your bills, filing your taxes, looking up recipes, booking a vacation, or even just learning a new skill. Story 8. Stress management. The first, I think, is affecting our life so much. Even learning breathing practices is enough to solve a lot of problems. And self-care too. I know people who can't manage sleeping time, cook simple meals, and are emotional like a 5-year-old child. Story 9. Learn how to fight. I'm not saying become a black belt in Kung Fu or anything, but go take some boxing lessons at a place that lets people spar. Once you're in a safe, controlled area where you can get used to being punched in the face and not letting it affect you, it rewires your whole brain for life. It becomes natural to face a setback and adjusting what you're doing to fix the problem. And even as self-defense, most people have never thrown a punch. When my kids were in Taekwondo, an adult white belt class started while the kids were getting their gear off, and they had to teach people how to properly make a fist. Most attackers rely on that. People attack easy victims. Typically, if you show some level of knowledge of self-defense, it's going to scare off attackers. Story 10. Lots of good suggestions here already, so I'll share a different angle. Typing. Everyone should learn how to type well. Consider how much time people spend at work and at home typing on a device and how slow most people are at it. That is hours and hours of your life lost due to low productivity. If you can type faster, you can get your schoolwork done sooner, you can excel more at work, and you can be kind to more people on social media. Story 11. Title. How to use a knife properly while cooking. Text. I've been in the restaurant business for what feels like 100 years, and I get really nervous when I see someone without culinary training handle a knife. Moreover, I've noticed that those not trained in the culinary arts tend to take a much longer time to accomplish tasks. Story 12. I believe everyone should learn to cook. It is a life skill that keeps you from ordering takeout and eating dodgy microwave dinners. Plus, nothing says independence like being able to prepare a great meal. And if you cannot dazzle them with your cuisine, at least you can amaze them with the fact that you did not burn down the kitchen. Story 13. Cooking. Once you learn how to cook, ordering takeout becomes frivolous. The amount of money you can save by learning to cook new recipes is absurd. Plus, it's a good activity whether you're single or married. Story 14. Gardening. Good for kids and adults of all ages. It's therapeutic, offers healthy exercise, and being in the sun is educational. Plus, you are able to provide your own healthy food. Story 15. First aid is a crucial skill that everyone should learn. Knowing how to respond in emergencies, whether it's performing CPR, treating a wound, or recognizing the signs of a stroke, can save lives. Story 16, How to Swim. This is the hill I will die on. Even if you've grown up several hundred miles from the closest body of water, you never know where your life will take you in the future. You could be on vacation and fall into the ocean, or you could move to a city with a waterfront and witness someone drowning with nobody else around to help. Learn how to swim. Story 17, 1. Heating, ventilation, and air conditioning units have filters. 2. Filters need to be changed. I lived in my first apartment for 4 years before someone clued me in. Maintenance didn't do it because it was a very basic apartment, and I didn't know it needed to be done. That filter was in bad shape. Story 18. It's so useful for lots of situations, such as loud places, talking to someone through a window or across a room, and being able to talk even when you have to be quiet. It opens up communication with deaf and hard of hearing people. Story 19. Basic first aid. Do you know how to tie a tourniquet? Do you know how to administer cardiopulmonary resuscitation? Do you know how to perform the Heimlich maneuver on yourself and others? Do you know what to do if someone has a stroke, seizure, or overdose? Learn all of this. You may end up saving a life, and that life may even be your own. Story 20. I thought most people knew the basics. I feel everyone should know how to cook, do laundry, clean up after themselves, life skills in general. A lot of people, I feel, become a burden to others because they expect others to do things for them. Story 21. I'm a big fan of critical thinking and emotional intelligence. I have mentored a lot of folks in my career, and I usually start with that as a base skill. Story 22. Everyone should have a basic understanding of computers at this point. I don't mean specialized software, and I don't mean programming, and I don't mean hardware engineering. I mean, how does a computer interact with information? What is the rough structure of the internet? How does a browser work? What is software versus hardware? Why is updating necessary and how to install? Story 23. Basic critical thinking. It amazes me how, when interacting with the public, so many people struggle with problem solving. If they don't already know how to approach something, they consider it not their concern. Even when I guide them through the process, hoping they'll attempt it themselves, they'd prefer to give up and say, since you know it, you do it. More realistically, I'd argue for the importance of basic repair skills. Story 24. Bodybuilding. You don't have to get huge muscles to see the benefits. Even 15 minutes a day of bodyweight exercises can keep you fit enough to prevent type 2 diabetes or even reverse it somewhat if you already have it. Excess sugar is stored in 3 places in your body: the liver, the blood, and the muscles. I managed to get my A1C number, a blood sugar test, down from 7 to 5.7 in a couple of years. My doctor said I was pre-diabetic before, but if I keep this up, then I won't have to take medicine. Story 25. Simple financial planning. Seriously, I am shocked at how many kids graduate high school not knowing the first thing about bank accounts, debt, interest, loans, and so on. The worst part is many of these kids will go on to take out massive student loans for college, not knowing at all how big a burden this will be on them later in life. I believe that in every kid's final year of high school, they should be required to take one financial planning course. Even if it's just for one semester, it would go a long way towards letting them know what basic finances entail. The only reason I learned anything about finance was because I had a relative who managed money for a living. If I hadn't known them, then I shudder to think what kind of financial decisions I would have made. Story 26. Questioning authority is something that really needs to be normalized. A ton of kids I interact with seem very keen to just optimize the current path instead of questioning why they have to follow that path. If you spend a week in a corporate setting, you'll realize very quickly that very few leaders get legitimately challenged. This basically creates a cycle of mutual admiration up to the top and results in major managerial issues, which is a problem in America today that gets swept under the rug because the money is still flowing. Story 27. Several things shock me about what people don't know nowadays. For instance, it surprises me how many people don't know how to change a tire and then blame society and convenience for this lack of knowledge. Alongside many other comments, I wonder how someone cannot understand the basics of cooking. It's quite easy to open YouTube or even Google to learn. Before the internet, there were cookbooks. Another essential skill is basic communication with society. Story 28. People need to learn how to disagree with others and be respectful about it. There is no need to escalate things quickly. Learn to agree to disagree and then move on. Story 29. How to look up information. Most people I know do not use Google, let alone know how to access databases. And I know Google isn't anywhere as good as it used to be, but that's why you have to learn how to phrase searches, use keywords and shortcuts to omit certain results, and know when you have to throw in the towel and write your query plus Reddit to get an answer. So many times, someone will ask me a question I don't know the answer to, and seem boggled when I'm like, oh, let's just Google it. There is all the information available in the world to you at your fingertips. You can teach yourself about basically anything if you know how to look it up. Or when someone is like, I have been looking for an item for ages. Where did you get it? And if you Google the item, there are listings of websites and stores you can purchase said item from. I don't get it. Story 30. Basic computer knowledge is essential, regardless of whether you use Windows, Mac, Linux, or Android. All these operating systems use similar parts. Understanding the basics of how an operating system works with software and its functionality online is crucial. This knowledge aids in keeping your data secure, among other benefits. Mastering these basics is not magic. Dedicating a few hours to obtain a fundamental overview could save everyone a significant amount of time and effort. I've observed that both young and senior adults often have a minimal understanding of computers and technology. Given its pivotal role in our lives, this widespread lack of understanding is nearly inexcusable. Story 31. Spacing out. I found out recently not everyone does this. I can space out, just stare at nothing for an hour, nothing in my mind, just let everything go. Can be done with or without music. Music helps if there are people around for two reasons. One, to drown out their noise, and two, if you are using earbuds, they are less likely to talk to you.